Hello, this is Steph at Finding You Tarot, and this is going to be one of my politics videos. It's going to be a really, really interesting year for the UK. So I want to look at what's going to happen in this election year. It is potentially the election could be in January 2025, but it won't be. I said in a previous video back in I think it was in September. It will be in October, and I stand by that. I haven't seen anything that's changed my mind on that. But it's the energy is quite interesting at the moment. So I was kind of thinking, shall I look at what the government is going to do? Shall I look at what the opposition is going to do? But I think they're both set on their various courses, and I don't think that much is actually going to change for either of them. In fact, in the last reading, I focused on the government, and I said it would just be more bickering, more stuckness, and so it has proved. And I don't see much change there. We'll see if something else comes out. I will ask a little bit later. But what I want to do is I want to look at how the people of Britain are collectively feeling about all of this. So let's see, what's the collective energy in the UK? What's the collective energy amongst the electorate of the UK? The new journey begins. There is a desperate urge for change. There's a desperate urge for change. There is a desperate urge to plant seeds. Yellow cards in the tarot are, they're broadly positive cards. But they also come with a bit of a warning, and and there are mountains in the background in both these cards, but particularly so here in the Fool card. He's about to step off a cliff and take a leap of faith, but there's a lot of mountains in the background. So I think this is not. This does not feel like an easy decision for the electorate. There is a bit of a kind of, oh, better the devil you know kind of vibe. And the Tories are, and God, why wouldn't they, playing on that, playing on the fears of the past, looking back at, all of the fear-mongering over Jeremy Corbyn, the global financial crash, which was very much not Gordon Brown's fault, but somehow the Conservatives managed to convince the nation it was, when he was actually one of the people who kind of held the world together and glued it together. But I think that there is going to be a lot of scaremongering. This will be ugly. This will be an ugly election year. But, if you're desperate, why wouldn't you? But I think looking at these two cards here, with this wanting to plant a seed, there is a mountain here, but it's much smaller. I think the overwhelming urge to move on for the British public is going to be, it's going to be greater than the fear-mongering. There is an appetite for change here. But it's not easy. It's not easy. But they kind of want to, get back to a space of feeling abundant, of not being in a state of lack. it's interesting because we can be in life doing okay. We can be comfortably paying the bills. We can be, having a little bit of money left over to, to put it away or for treats or whatever. And we can have all those things and yet feel very impoverished. And I'm getting a sense here from this card, and this card is actually one of abundance, but it feels as though there is a wanting to get away from that, to feel abundant again, to recapture what has been lost in recent years. But abundance is not just about money, it's about everything. It's just the thinking, it's the way that people relate to each other. It's abundance is so much more than just, how many cars you've got in your drive, or how many holidays you can afford to have. It is a mindset, and it feels as though that mindset has been lost. But also, as I'm looking at this, two of the three cards that have come out are about, stability, security, the material aspects and the material concerns of life. And those are foremost in the minds of the British electorate. And so, but they're not, I don't think they're being conned by the kind of arguments of, if inflation is slowing down, then you have more money in your pocket. No, you just have less money, but a bit more slowly. You don't use your money as fast. So I think, it's almost like it's less about the lack of resources, the lack of money, and it's more about the feeling of the lack of resources. And that feels really strong here. Yeah. And, the Seven of Cups is a card of choices, and most of the choices are not great choices. So I think, as I say, this is not an easy decision for the electorate, and the Conservatives will play on that, as they will scaremonger, they will, they will try to create a fear around any potential Labour government or Labour-led government. And there will be people who will fall for it, because you can see this guy is in the dark, and he's not really informing himself. And I think that has been one of the issues, for the British voters, that they don't always, they're not always good at looking really deeply at the issues. The 3-word soundbite has been incredibly successful in UK politics for a long time, for a very good reason. It's because it lands, because people don't have to spend the time, they can just latch onto a soundbite and then they think they understand the argument. So I think that will play a part here. So that's sort of indicating to me that maybe, it's not going to be the massive landslide that the polls would certainly at this point suggest for Labour. But then it would have to be a massive turnaround for them. They would have to win an enormous number of seats. But as I say that, the Hermit has come out, and I think this might be, actually, interestingly, that's an interesting message, that this might be the election where people really do look at the issues. Where this is the one. This is the election where it doesn't work. Where the where the lies and the distortions don't work. Where people look hard at the issues, at what it is they want, and they tap into their inner wisdom, and they really, really do try this now to understand the issues. The Hermit is a card of Virgo. The Fool is a card of Aquarius. The Star, of which, I don't know if you can see this, is a card of not only healing but also of wish fulfillment, and the star is held within the lantern. So there feels like there's a real focus on a desire amongst the electorate to begin to heal the country and to begin to tap into the potential of the country, because I think for some years now the country has not been exercising its potential. It's been very, very stuck and directionless. So I just had a swig of tea. And, the Hermit, he's on top of the mountain, and he's obviously been there for a very long time, because you look at his robes and he's rather tatty and he's got a very long beard and long hair. But he has, in his isolation, in his, I suppose, sort of impoverishment, there's been an enlightenment in that. There's been an enlightenment of what it is he really wants, what it is he truly values, and that's when he can come down from the mountain and start to tap in to those energies. It's an inner wisdom energy. And incidentally, Virgo is, oh gosh, now is it September to October, or is it October to November? But it does include a chunk of October. There's Virgo, so I'm still, and there's a 10 here, which is, October as well. So I'm still very much feeling that the energy will be an October election. But I feel like I feel as though the energy building into it is going to, this is taking place now. This subtle, and it might be a very quiet change. It might be a very quiet change amongst the electorate, because a lot of people don't really like to talk about their politics, but they will just sit quiet. They will quietly look at it if they feel they need to. But here we've got the two cards that came out: the Ace of Cups and the Two of Cups. And the Ace is a new sort of emotional beginning. The Two, it's a coming together. But it's also, it's a card of communication, because the thing between them is the staff of Hermes, which is a heavy symbol of communication. But also, this can also be about new contracts as well. So it feels as though there is this new contract that the British people are wanting to make here. What is the electorate going to do about the Conservatives? What's the electorate going to do about the Conservatives? What is the electorate going to do about the Conservative Party? The World, and he holds the world in his hands, is a card of completion. I think there's a if you can see here, he's holding on. There are two wands here in this card, and this is typically a card of, kind of thinking choices, and they are holding. There is a something here about him wanting to hold on to the past, and I've been picking that up since the beginning here. But this is about this is about the fear of new. It's and whether that fear of new is going to override the desire for new, for that new contract. Just tell me about this Two of Wands, please. Tell me about this Two of Wands. Yeah. So with the Knight of Swords, this is quite a disruptive energy, and this shakes anybody out of procrastination. I wonder if there's going to be something that happens that comes in here that is the final straw for the British public with the Conservative Party, because this seems like a very sort of sudden event where that's it, no more. And there is about 22% of the electorate will always vote Conservative. They just will. However the country is looking, whatever the Conservative Party do, they will vote Conservative. But there is something here that is a sudden change of energy. We're going from this sort of procrastination, or maybe we'll just hang on, and then this sword of truth just comes in with almost kind of at speed, with no warning. There's something here. There is an event is going to take place here, which will, that will be it for this country and this current Conservative incarnation. That's interesting. Is there anything more about this? Have you got anything more about this? It's about money. It's another, this is going to be another this is going to be another financial scandal. There's another financial scandal here. This is about, money being withheld, the city behind, but he's holding on to all of the money in front of him. And normally this would be the miser card, but I think this is oh gosh, I just got a message there of his wife. This is around Sunak. This feels like it's around Sunak because he's wearing a crown. He's wearing the crown. And I don't normally notice that in this card. This is something to do with Sunak's wife's finances, and it will be the end of the road for him. There'll be no coming back from it. But it's coming in very, very suddenly. He won't be expecting it. Nobody's expecting whatever this is. Yeah. The card that just fell out is the Magician, and it fell over the Ace of Cups. I think, that if what Labour are offering the country is the opportunity to be master of its own destiny, I think that is the right strategy for Labour. The Magician is the master manifester. But he's also, he's the conjurer. He creates his own reality, and And it feels very much as though, if Labour's offer is somewhat kind of, we will support you as you grow your country. I think if that is the message, I think that will land. I think that's what people want to hear. So there's a lot around self-empowerment here, but it does feel very much that yeah, because I'm being drawn back up to the Fool here. It's like, people want to, have that opportunity for growth, but they don't want to feel, there's been, I think it's just for the last few years everything has felt so restricted, that there is a real appetite here for a government that says we're going to be quite light touch. I don't know if that makes any sense. But it's almost as though people are sort of champing at the bit to get going, but they just need some support in order to do it. And I feel like this is around entrepreneurship, or around business, that sort of arena. But also personally, I think people just feel like their lives have become very meager, and they're just a little bit trapped where they are, and they kind of need to they need to feel freer. He's traveling light. He doesn't have a lot of possessions here, but there's a lightness and a freedom about him. And the whole Brexit argument was about freedom, and although Brexit was nothing about, it wasn't anything to do with freedom, but it was what was latched onto, by those who supported Brexit as the reason to do it. And so I think this is this sense of wanting freedom is not necessarily, just from the last couple of years of very difficult financial conditions, but I think it goes much further back than that. And it's got a that sort of with the Fool kind of prepared to step off the cliff and take the consequences, whatever they may be. It feels as though it's kind of got that to hell with it quality. Let's just go for it. And I think that's where the country is at the moment. It's like, someone's kind of got the fizzy wine, prosecco, champagne, whatever you drink. It's like they're twisting the top at the moment, and it's like ready to pop, but it's not popped yet. But I think we're getting there. But I do think that there is an event here, and it feels like it's a financial. It's another financial scandal, but it's one that nobody's going to see coming, and it's not something that. Yeah, I think it will make people have a different perspective around Rishi Sunak, because although temperance is a card of balance and healing, there is also a sort of, there's a new perspective here at the third eye, that people are going to really see what is going on there. And it feels as though that's, so I've actually never noticed these before. I've had these cards for decades, but in the corner here you've got the birds circling, like kind of like sort of circling over a dead body. I mean, I'm not not predicting that, but but it feels like the it's like the carrion crows are going to be circling on him, because he's also very stuck as well. He's trapped. He doesn't really know what to do. That's another card. The two of wands is a card of, choose. Oh no, I think I'll just stay here. It just doesn't. He's got no. There's no forward movement with him. The only forward movement with him is this, and this is coming at him. This is not him. This is coming at him, and he doesn't know it. But there's a much warmer energy here. It's interesting because there's a much more sort of warm and hopeful energy here around the Labour offering. It's like people are going to give them a hearing. They're going to get a crack of the whip here, but they have to. I think they're going to have to make the electorate feel that their future is in their hands, that they are here to support the electorate in their endeavours, not to kind of shackle them. Okay, can you just ask what about the electorate with Starmer? About the electorate with Starmer. About the electorate with Starmer. Oh, well, that's interesting. The lawyer gets justice, steady, truth, clarity. Yeah. I think, in which case, I think that this is absolutely, that whatever, Starmer's team are doing, they're doing the right things, because I think this is entirely how, he has been positioning himself, as this steady authority figure, who is all about fairness and justice and the law, which is, the law is policing very important areas for potential Conservative voters. So it feels very much as though, whatever Labour are doing here, they're getting it right, and it feels like they're going to continue getting it right, because I feel as though, although there's an argument, and it's a correct argument, that we don't know what Labour stands for, we haven't heard what they, and there are very good reasons why Labour would not be, making big policy announcements right now, because the more conservative supporting press, of which is most of the press in the UK, would be all over it and trying to, put it in the worst possible light. But also, quite a few times Labour have announced things, and the Conservatives have stolen the policy. So you don't really necessarily want to be, if you're in Labour's position, kind of showing your hand too soon. But it feels as though, it actually just feels to me as though the trajectory that Labour is pursuing here is going to continue to work, and they are going to be helped. They are going to be helped here by something sudden that comes in, and I don't think will Sunak lead the Conservatives into the next election? Will Sunak lead the Conservatives into the next election? Yes, but he is going to be in the mother of all fights before that. And, the Five of Swords is a win at all costs thing. I think there will be a challenge to his leadership. I think this Knight of Swords is something different, though, but there will be a challenge to his leadership, which might come after this. I think he will win. And that might be why he ends up having to go to the country. I wonder if there's a challenge to his leadership and he just calls an election. That's interesting. That would be quite a turn of events. And all the while, Justice just sits and watches it unfold. Well. Well, what an interesting reading. I'm going to leave it there. We have the Tower, destruction, the tearing down of what no longer serves. Something quite karmic about this. Justice is a karmic card. The Tower is a karmic card. There's something that feels quite karmic, not just for the Conservative Party, but also for Rishi Sunak as well. And this Tower, incidentally, will come in quite fast because the Chariot is a fast-moving energy, and so is the Eight of Wands. So it looks to me as though there is some event is going to happen, some revelation about Sunak's business interests, or his wife's business interests more specifically, I think, which is going to really the stock of the Tory party is going to absolutely plummet even further on the back of it. There will be a challenge against Sunak. And he will call an election and tear the whole place down. Wow. Well, yeah. I mean, it's very, it's kind of quite a Conservative Party thing to do, really. They do like a bit of Jacobean bloodletting. And in the meantime, Labour just holds steady. It's a bit of a an almost avuncular energy here. This sort of, let us just hold you lightly by the hand and help you through this while these crazy people over here implode. And I'll just stay here as steady as a rock. Right, I'm leaving it there. I'm definitely leaving it there. I could sit here all night turning the cards over, but that feels like a really interesting reading. We'll be very interested to see what happens next, because it's almost like, it's something that could come as a complete shock. But I think it's one of those things where you think, well, yeah, I'm shocked, but I'm not surprised. So, yeah, anyway, that's what my cards say. So let's see what happens. Bye.